What is going on, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Season 2, Episode 9 of The Ronan Bell Show. With me today is Selwyn Simpson. He's a Division I running back at Lafayette College. Kid works his tail off to become the athlete that he is today. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy and learn something from him. Make sure you hit that follow button, and let's cut to it and cue that intro. Selwyn, what's going on today, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Driving, chilling. So what's football looking like for you guys in the spring? Or
Football's looking pretty good. So, actually, I don't know if I can actually declare it yet, but I'm definitely gonna say it's looking pretty good. It's good. It's on the bright and up and up. So, definitely, I'm excited about it.
just want a chance to play or do something, be with the team again.
Definitely, I definitely miss the guys, and definitely want to. It was gonna be my senior season, so I definitely want to finish that out and get a championship with my guys for sure. We've been working hard for it.
Oh, dude, of course, especially because you've been working your past 4 years, and now you want to this is the ending. This is the same thing with
Yeah,
high school sports too. Like I've played for so long now, I want to finish it out.
yeah, for sure, definitely. And I haven't been able to catch one yet, so I'm definitely gonna try to get one on my way out. But it's definitely gonna be a fun season. I'm looking forward to it, and whether it's in the spring or in the fall, I'm looking forward to playing.
Yeah, man, I love it. So before we get into anything else, could you just tell the audience who you are, what you do, where you're from, basic
Yeah,
information, man.
so my name's Selwyn Simpson. I went to Springford High School, so I'm from the area, like the Oaks area. Right now I'm a Division I football player, running back at Lafayette College. We play in the Patriot League. It's a small school in the Lehigh Valley up by Lehigh. Um, and those are actually our rivals. We actually played this year would have been the 156, but last year when it was 155th, that was the longest consecutive rivalry in college football. So it's definitely a historic thing, and it's definitely something to look forward to. So I'm missed out on it, but hopefully I'm gonna get one more. Sorry about that.
Dude, you're good. But honestly, yeah, like playing football at the next level, like to say that you're like a Division I football player, is that something that you thought of like in high school, or you kind of just grew into it when you started to realize that you started to become a little bit better and progress more than everyone else?
Yeah, I would definitely say like when I originally started playing sports, I was big on baseball. So like baseball was kind of like my first sport I've ever played. I wasn't actually allowed to play football till I was 10 because that was like my mom's rule. Like I wasn't allowed to play. So I was kind of missing out. And the only time I'd play would be like backyard with friends. But I didn't really know I was gonna go D1. It was always a dream. I always wanted to like take the financial freedom away from my parents and like go to college for free and just like showcase my talent. But it was really kind of like my sophomore year where I really started developing as a running back. And that's kind of when I knew that I could really take this further.
Well, it's crazy how like life changes like that. Like originally, did you think that you wanted to play baseball, or were you always kind of like once you realized that sophomore year, like I could play football in college, like that's what you wanted to do, or was baseball kind of still in the back of your mind?
Yeah, baseball was like always a sport I always played. So I played that all the way up throughout high school. And like, I originally thought like growing up, I was going to go play college baseball. So it's funny how life twists and turns, but definitely got to roll with it. I'm happy I chose football. I love football. And it's definitely like a grind that teaches you a lot of life lessons.
Oh, dude, especially now where you're at when it's so much different from the high school game. I feel like sports shows you how to progress, not only like in what you're doing, but in life in general too, because you have to adapt to the change of the speed, the intensity. Like the dudes that you play up against now are the best kids from each of their high schools rather than just
True.
some kids that maybe play football because it's the fun thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely playing at the Division I level, you find out quick that like everyone's kind of the best in their high school and you kind of got to separate yourself. And like the way you do that, it's kind of just like hard work. And then like you got to really spend a lot of time in the film room to understand what's going to happen. And that's like whatever sport you play, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, like you really just got to spend a lot of time in the weight room, spend a lot of time with film, and like you'll be all right.
And the thing is, like, you're a running back at the next level too. How tall are you, Sound like 6'2", 6 foot on tender?
Yeah, I'm about a 6'1". Yeah, 6'1". Yeah,
so,
6'1", 215.
yeah, you got the big body build for a running back, and that's like
Yeah,
something, especially at this level, when some of those O line or D linemen are 6'4" and 300 pounds. How's it feel really to get hit by one of those dudes rather than,
Yeah,
the kids in high school that are just put there because they're, the big kid?
definitely. My line does a good job of keeping me clean and keeping away from the big hits, but definitely, like I said, it's the best of the best. So it's like it's gonna happen. You're gonna get cleaned up sometimes, but you definitely gotta just roll with the punches. It doesn't feel too good to answer your question, but it's just something you gotta get used to.
Well, yeah, it's part of the game. I mean, you
Yeah,
sign up for it. I'm
definitely.
sure, like, that Derrick Henry guy, you see him stiff arming
Derrick
people,
Henry's
whatever
different
it
though.
is. Dude, he is so different.
Yeah, he
But
lays the blows. He doesn't get hit.
yeah, and like even that dude, like I'm sure that some of those time, like some of those Monday mornings when he's waking up, he's really feeling it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. He's a big guy. They chop low. They go for his ankles and stuff.
So did you get like a lot of offers when you came out of high school for football, or was it just Lafayette?
No, I had a couple other offers. I had an offer from Maine. I offer from this school up in uh New York. It's called Marist. And I was talking to a couple other schools in the Patriot League, but they were all really late. Like it was kind of like towards the end of my recruitment. Kind of it started picking up after Thanksgiving. So like no late November, December, January, and I was able to commit in February. So it was kind of like it was a late process. I was able to have more than one option, but I was definitely able to pick the right option for me. So I'm blessed to have that opportunity.
Oh, especially because like out of Springford, and for anyone that's not part of like the Tri-County area, the Pac's not like
Yeah.
a huge producing sports conference.
No, for
And the
sure.
fact that like there's very few people that end up making it to the Division 1 level. I mean, Justin Jaworski is one of them that I interviewed earlier. Shout out
Yeah.
Justin, number one scorer in
Yeah,
the nation right now.
yeah, he's
But
balling.
but
Yeah.
it's crazy to think that like the amount doesn't really discourage you because you ended up finding a home.
Yeah, it was definitely you got to be patient with it, and honestly, yeah, it doesn't. The amount of offers doesn't really matter. Like you're gonna get guys that have 30 plus offers, and then you're gonna get guys that get one offer, and you're gonna get guys that get no offer, and you got to walk on it, earn a position. But it doesn't really matter how you get there. It's kind of just like what you do when you get there. And like I was able enough to come out of high school with an offer, but like I've seen plenty of guys on the team and throughout NCAA that like they don't start out on scholarship and they earn it. So
Yeah, you got to work for anything that you want to
yeah,
do, especially at that level, man.
for sure.
There's always someone like every year, those coaches and those recruiters are they're trying to replace you as bad as it sounds,
Yeah,
but
kind of,
it's the truth. It's a business. At the end of the
yeah,
day, they're
it
trying
is.
to win games.
Yeah, and as long as you're producing, it's good. But like, and I mean, it's really like you got to go to a team that really and a staff that you really trust to like keep you safe and kind of what's best for you and kind of not like hang you out to dry like that. But on the other end of it, like you have to still end up you still hold up your end of the bargain and like produce. Like I said, make sure you're doing the things you need to do to produce on the field.
Oh, yeah, you got to do your job. And
Yeah,
that's like with anything in life besides sport. Like you got to do what you're getting paid, or in this case, like in what your scholarship tells you to do. Like you got to put the work in, and
yeah,
no matter what you're doing, or there is going to be someone that's going to try and replace you.
yeah. It's a like I said, every year new like you just said actually every year a new recruiting class comes in and those kids are hungry too. They want to play, so it's kind of like you got to earn your position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was the same way. Yeah, exactly. It was the same way when you walked in as a freshman
Oh
and
yeah,
saw
definitely.
these dudes, and I was like, I want to get on the field. So,
Yeah,
like, let's
for
do
sure.
it.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to like the seniors and the juniors that I had above me. They were like they took me under their wing and they really taught me everything that I needed to know early, so I was able to be successful. And that's something that I try to do with my running backs now, being the oldest guy in the group. That just like being able to teach the knowledge so everyone can ball and then they can ball a little earlier. And you just want your guys to succeed, even if it's like the same position. Like you just want the best for your team and you want to win championships. So it's something that you got to do.
And I like how you're saying that you want to do like the best for your team. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure that there have been games where you haven't been able to put the game together that you exactly wanted, and someone else comes in and does the job. And does like that ever discourage you, or it's winning over everything to you?
To be honest, bro, like just like short, like my career, like I've been dealing with like some ankle injuries. So like even in the latest season, like I got hurt first game, like I just like had got a real bad bone bruise on my ankle. So I was out for like 5 weeks. And like I needed, even though like a lot of the running backs were freshmen and they didn't really have a lot of time under their belt, it was kind of like it was like a reality check, as in like you're here now, so you guys gotta fill the role till like I get back or till you guys earn a position. And it was some kind of like that, and it's never kind of like a uh, dang, like I wish. I mean, I always wish I'm playing. Like I never wanted to be hurt, and I never wish any of my guys would be hurt, but it was definitely something like I itched to get back out there, but I knew that it was going to be all right because I had trust in faith in my teammates that they could get the job done without me. But as soon as I got back, I wanted to be able to help them out.
Yeah, you have to be selfless as an athlete, especially
Yeah,
when it's at the college level or any level, really, because at the end of the day, the end goal is to win games. It's not to put up anything crazy in the stat column because one day those don't matter. The
yeah,
championships and the banners is what really, that's what hangs in the rafters in the building, or, you have some banner on the field or whatever it may be. That's what really, at the end of the day, proves to stick in your mind rather than having 300 rushing yards in a game or whatever it may be.
yeah, exactly. The stats are perfect, and you love to have the stats, but definitely the win is the only thing that really matters. You could have a bad game, and as long as you get a win, it makes you feel a little better about it.
Oh yeah, dude. Of
Yeah.
course. So like what would you say that your daily routine is like when let's talk pre-COVID because no one expected this. No one expected to do workouts in a completely different way. So what was your routine like to become the athlete that you are when you started football, like in college?
In college, so like normally our routine like we'll wake up and it's really based on your class schedule. So like I take like kind of like later morning classes. So my first class will start at 10 and I'll probably go to like 2:30. So I'll get a lift in the morning. My lift will start at like 7 to 8 and then I'll go get some breakfast. Before class, do anything I need to do, send emails, just like watch some film, do that, go to class. After class, I have about an hour to chill, do some homework, or catch a nap before practice. Practice starts at 3:30. 3:30 is when we have meetings. We have about 30 minutes of meetings. Like we have a quick team meeting, and then we go to like individuals, which is like just your position, and like you talk about the practice things like plays, schemes, like it's just like game planning stuff. We practice from 4:30 to 6:30. It's like a nice 2-hour practice, and then after practice you get dinner, and then you head to study hall. So it's kind of repetitive, but the nice parts is like on Fridays when you get to travel. That's always fun to travel with the guys, whether it's on the bus, the plane, or even in the hotel. Is like kind of some of the best memories in the season. So that's kind of just like a quick spiel of what we go through in the season.
Yeah, I mean it's an action-packed day. They're
Yeah.
they're trying to hold you accountable for everything that you do. Like they want you to make sure that you're not stepping out of line, do anything stupid. And that's what's good about sports or just being a part of something in general because it holds you responsible for and accountable for not only you but your program behind you because someone if you mess up that looks bad in the football program and that looks
For
bad if
sure.
someone else messes up it's the same thing and that happens a lot nowadays with athletes.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing, like you got to really understand, like I feel like some athletes or some guys really like would think like, oh, Division One football, like it's this thing, and like you don't have to work hard for it once you achieve it, but it's like you really have to love the sport that you're playing because it's not easy, and some days it's not really fun. It's like the hard, how much work you're going to put in to get the results that you want, and it's kind of like a mental game that you need to have with yourself and I want like us definitely a lot of even younger kids like from Springford or even whatever high school uh, to really understand like you have to like love what you're doing. Like it's a 40 plus like you'll put 40 hours into it a week easily, and that's like a full time job. So if you're not in love with what you're doing, like who's gonna want to work 40 hours on something that they don't want to do? Nobody. So it's like it's something like that.
Yeah, you have to be passionate about what you're doing because if you're not someone, again, someone's going to take your job, they're going to find someone else. And it's no knock on you personally, but it's that, maybe this isn't made for you or maybe this wasn't the right thing for you to do. And there's
Exactly.
obviously other options besides that. And sports sometimes doesn't work out for everyone. But to be able to work, I mean, you work 7 days a week, 6 days a week, call it.
Yeah, it's really a full seven. Like you get you practice. Well, actually, it's six because you get one day off a week, so it's six. But it feels like seven. The 24 hours goes by really fast. But definitely, whether it's recovery or film, like I was saying, or practice, like you're always doing something. So
Yeah, and if you can commit to that, like that's awesome. But it's the thing that you do with that. Like if you just want to be an average Division 1 player and ride the pine for 2 years and then want
mhm.
to get in your junior and senior season, like if that's what you want to do, that's great. But people like you and other motivated athletes, they want to excel. Like I want to be on the field the first day, like I touch campus. Like what can
Yeah,
I do to get there? And that's what separates the average from. I just did a podcast with one of my old basketball coaches, and he says 87% of people are considered average and 13% are considered outstanding. Like that
exactly.
number, there's 87% of people that want to just do the routine, but then there's that 13% that want to go that extra mile and become way better than everyone else.
Exactly. And it's something that you kind of want for your team, obviously, with the 13%, because like the more guys, like even if we said it in spring for like on the football team, the more guys that want to go D1 and their dream is to go D1, that's just the better the team's gonna get. Because like if you want to go to the higher level, like I can hold you to that certain accountability level. Like you're not gonna be able to slack because I already know your goal and you know mine. So it's like you want to hold somebody accountable, and it's kind of hard, especially like with you said when you got guys that like are really there just to wear the jersey and to say that they're on the team, like that kind of messes up the team dynamic. Because if you have too many of those guys, like it's kind of like kind of Jarvis Landry says, it's like it's a cancer in the team, and the team's kind of like a unit. And like when stuff like that happens, it shows on the field.
And I like what you're saying because at the end of the day, you are a team. It matters what everyone does. And I know at Springford there was, I think your class had what, 4 people go Division 1, not just from football, but just
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
class in
or
general that played on the football team.
yeah, a lot of athletes for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like if I'm sure if there was only one person that wanted to go Division 1, there wouldn't be 3 others. There had to be way more than that because if you're just going up against average dudes, you're not going to excel when, the lights come on a Friday night and you're in front of 2,000 people to, run the ball up and down the field or, throw the ball 50, 60 yards. Like you got to live up to what you're doing. And athletes shrink to how they train. If you're training up against, people who might be rated at like a 5 or 6, you're going to play it like a 5 or 6.
Exactly.
It's just science and it's the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to try to not do that, like play to your competition, especially if you're better than them. But yeah, something like that. Like honestly, I've just been lucky and blessed to like have classes above me that were able to pave the way and be like, yo, yeah, we're all aspiring to do this. Like even at a time like I remember when we won the league championship my junior year, like at that team we had, whether it was D1 to D3, we had over 20 guys like going, and then more than 20 guys wanting to play. Like they had the dreams to do it, and that really was the difference on why we went undefeated in the regular season and won the championship, is because like the workouts, the practices, the film sessions, they were all held to a different accountability than you would just be if you were an average team, And it's kind of hard. Like if you don't really get to experience it, you can't really understand it. Like it really wasn't click. But like when you're able to experience it, you kind of chase after that, no matter what team you're on or no matter what job you're in. You kind of want to like get the system right.
And when you're like a part of a team like that and it's not so much like I'm trying to make this other person worse. It's I'm trying to make this person better and I'm trying to make myself better. And if I can't hold you to that level and you can't hold me to that level, then we're going to be stagnant. You can't
Mm-hmm.
stay stagnant in anything that you do in life, especially sports, because I'm sure the game of football 50 or 20, 10 years ago has been so much different than it is today. Like it's an ever changing thing. And that goes for anything in life that you have to keep adapting to the change in environment and being able to become better. Cause I'm sure in high school that there were some teams that you played that you knew were so much worse than you. And I'm sure that sometimes like that thought slipped in your mind that goes like, like they're not that good. I don't got to try as hard or whatever. But that's not how it works. If you're going to be like that, like why even play at all? Like you're not going to put
Exactly.
110% into it.
Yeah, you guys got to put 110% in, and especially a game like football. Like if you're not putting 100% to it, that's often when you're gonna get hurt, and like you'll really hate to get hurt over something that you could have definitely avoided by going full speed. And like I say, like iron sharpens iron, and one of like my favorite things to do at practice is one-on-ones, because I really feel like even though in a game it's never really a one-on-one, I feel like that competition aspect, you wanting to beat this person and that person wanting beating you, is like is what the game's about. And at some point there is going to be a one-on-one, and when you're competitive enough and you want to really chase after your goals, you're going to end up getting it and making the play.
Yeah, you got to fight for anything that you
Exactly.
want. Like it doesn't matter if that dude, say you were a 5'6" running back like Boston Scott or 5'4", ever how tall he is, and you're running like and you run in, you meet this guy who's 6'4". Like, are you gonna try and like just kneel or whatever it is, or are you
Yeah.
just gonna like are you gonna take it head on? Like you got to be able to attack another person like with that, and that doesn't go for just football. That goes with life in general. You're gonna sit down and you know take that knee, slide, or you're gonna try or at least try and do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Like, heart is definitely a big thing, especially in all athletes and anyone that just wants to be successful. You gotta have heart. You gotta have ambition. Like, if you don't, I don't really know what to tell you.
Oh my God, man. The heart thing is something that you can be as good as you want to be. Like you could have the God-given talent of anyone, but if your heart's not there, then what are you gonna do? That's like saying no, we're down by 20, but let's just stop. Like let's just stop trying. And that's where the heart comes in when that person comes off the bench or, the captain like gets everyone riled up and you come back. Cause that's not all skill. That's heart. Like you gotta be able to count your blessings right then and there to say, all right, well, let's do it. Like, why can't we? Like, why not
Yeah,
you? Like, why not me? It's that kind of thing.
and definitely, this past season, like we definitely learned that. Me and my teammates, like a lot of our games we won or even lost were by like close margins, like less than 6 points. And it's like you really got to learn how to win when like the game's tight and the game's on the line, and that's kind of something that shows and builds heart. Like when like this might be the last drive and it's third down, you have to get this first down. Like no one's scared, no one's deterred, it's just more confidence. Like, all right, we're gonna get it, and when we get it, what's the next thing we're gonna do? And it's kind of like that's the mindset you have to have. You have to have an optimistic mindset, and like when you're good, when you do, you'll be okay.
Oh, dude, 100%. If you're just going to be a pessimist and just try and take everyone down with you, if one person's going down, that's a great thing about a team because it's comparable to family. If one person's going down, everyone falls. It's
Exactly.
everyone's got to be up all the time, or we're all going to stoop down to that lowest person.
Exactly. You're only as strong as your weakest link. That was a good quote I heard one time.
Oh, dude, 100%. So what about do you think that like football is ever a lot for you? Like the amount of like balancing classes between practice and then games and all that stuff?
I wouldn't say it's a lot. I feel like that's really down to your time management. Like it's gonna really teach you how to like do what you have to do. Cause like a good like coach is gonna tell you like there's 24 hours in a day. So like you telling them you don't have time to do something isn't really a good excuse. Like
Oh, it's the biggest BS I've ever heard, man.
yeah, like whether you got to wake up an hour earlier or you got to go to sleep an hour later, you're probably going to do that anyway. So like you got to just be efficient with your time. But like again, like you got to love it too. Like especially like if you're not loving being in meetings, if you're not loving being at practice, then you're probably going to get stressed if you feel like that's a hassle along with schoolwork and along with anything else you have to balance. So to me, football isn't a hassle. It's like my ease, it's my muse. So like it kind of gives me a break, especially when I'm having a stressful day in class. Like I'm happy to close my laptop, go down to practice, and like kind of just like take your mind off it for a little bit. And that's kind of how I feel. And I just feel like a lot of top athletes feel the same way. Like it's kind of like it's not a job. It's more like something that you would do if you not really getting paid for it.
Oh, if you love what you do, you're never going to work a day in your life. Like
Exactly.
it's just the facts. If you're that passionate about it, why would you ever not want to do it? Especially like football is fun. Like no,
Yeah,
like if you have fun doing what you do, like and you can somehow make that into your lifestyle or make into a job or maybe not play but coach, like there's always another route. And if you can have just like that thing in your life that like makes you smile at the end of the day when everything else is going bad, like that's when like maybe this is for me, like maybe this is actually a passion of mine.
exactly. Definitely. Passion's like, I feel like something that you kind of like, you don't even have to really think about. You just like, that's some, like, what would be something that you choose to do if no one told you to do anything? Like, and whatever you pick, that's probably your passion.
Yeah, it's like if you want to be I think my one of my calculus teachers in high school told me, it's like, well, if I didn't tell you to do math, would you still do it? And most of our class said no. I think one or two kids said yes, and he said, well, that obviously goes to show that all of you don't like math, and all of you probably won't take this into your next whatever thing in college.
Exactly.
And she was like, that's okay. Like, not everyone likes everything. You got to be able to pick something that you can honestly say and wake up every day and say, like, all right, like, let's go attack this. Like, if you love doing math problems, hey, kudos to you. You might be the
Exactly.
1%. But if that's
Yeah,
what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. Like, you just got to be able to find that in life, and the other things that come along with just being a human will be easier and have a bigger ease when you're stressed out. Like, you can just go to the thing that you love to do and take your mind off it for a little bit.
yeah, definitely. Like what you said, you're not working when you love to do it.
Love it, man. So, what about for like recovery aspects? I know like college football, especially football, there's a big thing in recovery, and obviously you've had some injuries. So, like
Yeah.
the recovery process for you, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, the recovery process for me is probably like at least one, maybe two training sessions. And in my training sessions, I'm rather either doing like I'm getting a massage on my ankle or stretches or like strengthening. And then like if I'm not really doing that, a good thing that I really found is like Epsom salt that I've really been doing. Like you kind of like that really helps my legs recover and I feel rejuvenated, especially after hard practice. So I've been doing a lot of that just to keep my body good. And I really feel like being an athlete, like it's really about what you eat and drink. And like if you're eating healthy and you're drinking water, your body's just naturally going to rejuvenate. Like even if you have a hard practice and your legs are beat up, like you getting a good amount of sleep. Sleep's a good thing too. Definitely try to get like 8 hours of sleep minimum a night, and that's kind of like the best recovery because you could be doing everything. You could stretch for an hour a day. You could drink only water. You could eat perfect meals, and if you're not getting enough sleep, you're still probably going to get hurt. So that's
Oh,
probably
for
the
athletes, sleep is honestly one of the biggest things, especially because like your body needs time to repair. Like sleep is honestly the best repair that you can do for your body. So you said you're an Epsom salt bath guy. Also like those. How about ice baths? You like those or not?
See, ice baths are definitely. I'm not a fan of them, but I definitely believe. I believe in their powers. So especially in camp, like when it's hot, we'll go. I'll hop in the ice bath. But that after no, after maybe October, I'm done with them. I'm not hopping in them. Epsom salt all the way.
Dude, you gotta be crazy to walk out off the field in like December and just hop in one of those. Those
Yeah,
people have a different kind of mindset that honestly kind of scares me. I wish I could do that, but like,
yeah,
they're crazy. They do have special powers.
they do.
They're awesome for you, and like that's a big thing about recovery. You have to find what works for you. Like obviously in November, you're probably not taking an ice bath, but you got to figure out what else can I do to make my legs feel better, like be able to help my body out so the next day I'm not waking up sore and then I got to go to practice and I can't perform the way that I want to.
Exactly. You just kind of want to keep your optimum and like maintain your optimum. That's kind of like the key, the little nuance, because like at the end of the season, everyone's going to be beat up, everyone's going to be a little banged up, and it's like if you can be less banged up than the other person, you're probably going to be more successful.
And going into the off season, that's a huge thing because once like the season ends, it really doesn't end. Like you
Yeah,
probably have a couple of days off, maybe like a week, but once that happens, like you're straight back into it and you got to work harder because there's another season on the other side of the year that you need to prepare for. And obviously you want to become better for.
yeah, definitely. Having like you probably go into the season in summer, like July at least. So like having like a 6 month season, you kind of forget how quick that kind of turnaround is. And that's something I had to learn. And I kind of probably learned it my sophomore year. Like when you come home for the summer, like that, or when you come home for break, that doesn't mean you get a break. Like even though you just worked and even though you just came off a season, like you might give yourself a week, maybe a week and a half, but you need to get back in the gym. And that's kind of something I've really been trying to do, especially it's been hard with COVID and you got to kind of improvise and adapt and do crazy stuff. But um, staying in the gym is definitely because it just keeps you at your optimum, and you want to be better going into the next season than you were last season. So it's just gonna help you out.
Yeah, your body has a routine. Like if it's not working out, it's gonna say like, "What are you doing?" Like you need
Exactly.
to get back in the gym. And with COVID and everything, man, has that been difficult for? I mean, I'm sure for you, but for everyone in general,
Yeah.
you can't even find a gym to work out in. And I think it's crazy. I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself because I don't want to start any drama with that or
Yeah.
anything. But yeah, it's just like hard to be able to cope with something that you do every day and then it's just taken away from you like with the
Yeah.
snap of your
Definitely.
finger, like
It's
Thanos.
it's definitely something that is annoying, and I'm not one of those like some of the guys in the NFL. Like they got the ability just to go fly out to a state. The gyms are open, but definitely gotta rock out. I'm just trying to like you gotta suit up, wear a couple hoodies, and go outside and run. That's kind of what I've been doing. But the gym's just open back up on Monday, so I'm good
Yeah,
now.
it's January when we're filming this podcast. So
Yeah,
someone's
right.
not going to the gym breaking
Yeah,
any laws or
January
anything.
January 6th, 7 p.m. So time stay
Oh,
put.
oh, dude, like running outside in the cold is like honestly, I think I like it way better than just going out on a hot summer day. I think it's like you feel way cooler when you're out there.
Yeah, yeah. With the heat wise, definitely. I'm not really a big fan of like just being cold, but I definitely noticed like the mask is kind of like helpful, like just in like getting in my zone and keeping my face warm and keeping my breath good. Like that's kind of the only benefit of having this whole COVID. Realize like running with a mask in the cold is kind of like the way to go.
And when you're running in the cold, you feel sick. Like you got
Yeah,
the hoodie up,
you do,
you're
you
with your
do,
mask on, you're
you do,
jogging up and down the street, and you feel like the baddest man on the face of the
you
planet,
do
like
definitely. You
some
got to play your
some stuff out
playlist
of the Rocky movie.
for sure. You got a good playlist going, and you're just cranked in your zone.
Oh, what kind of music you listening to when you're running?
Dude, I got a good mix. I mean, I hopped on Spotify and their playlists are really good. Like the Rap Caviar, I'll probably play that. And or a couple guys on the team made playlists that they let me hop on too. So I'll play those. But I mean, I'm a big Drake guy for sure. I like Meek Mill, Lil Uzi, a lot of Philly guys, but Drake, I know he's from Canada. But a lot of upcoming rappers I've been listening to a lot lately. Probably people don't really know about him yet. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I've been listening to J.I. the Prince and Chef G. He's new to me. I don't even know. Maybe he's been out for a
I gotta
while.
go look them up on Spotify right after this, man. While I'm
Yeah,
editing this podcast, I'm gonna start blaring that. Maybe we'll throw some, maybe
definitely.
I'll edit that in. Future Ronan, please edit that into whatever we're doing right now. We'll see how it
Yeah, for
sounds.
sure.
But man, for going into college, we're like a college that did anyone else from Springford really go there? I know Justin said that I think he was the only kid from PV, like not having
Nah, Justin
anywhere
was only.
when yeah, like not having anyone there when you first got there that you really knew. What was that like and how that make you feel when you first got there?
I feel like the adapt from like living at home with your parents to living by yourself is weird at first, but it's something that you kind of like grow into and like learn to enjoy. Like I love my parents, but like I like being on my own and doing my own thing. But at first like having a team and like that's kind of where like I'm fortunate to be a student athlete and like having a team like with a bunch of other freshmen that they're the first time and my coaching staff does it where like you room with another freshman, so it's kind of like having that guy like you're going everything the first time, like this is your first tour, this is your first day of class, like your first practice together, and it's kind of like you build camaraderie with another guy in your class. And still to that day, my freshman roommate's still one of my closest friends on the team. So I was lucky enough to have like that. So I wasn't able to feel that homesick, but I do know a lot of people that just like feel homesick, and it's something that you kind of got to get through.
Oh, like going to college, especially when like even if you're going to like a bigger school when like some of your friends from home are like going with you, you still are popping like a bubble that you're 100% used to, unless you've been moving around to a bunch of places. But most kids like they go from high school and then they go to a college that they might not know everyone, and their whole worldview gets shocked, like complete
Exactly.
culture shock, and they don't know what to do because I don't got like Timmy and John to my left and right that I've been hanging out with all my entire life. Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, I definitely feel like also maybe that's a drawback from like the social media age, but I also feel like when we're in situations like that, people feel like, what am I supposed to do? But I feel like that's like just the perfect time for you to just like meet new people and connect and network to new people. But I definitely feel like I didn't go too far from home, so I was like an hour and a half. So it's like I could drive home if something happened or if I needed to. So I can't really relate to guys that or people that go like down south, for example. But like definitely, I feel like just not knowing no one, I feel like you should try to put yourself out there.
Well, like what you said about Instagram, I had a 10-minute podcast. It should be out by the time this is. If it's not, I am really slacking off. I think I've
All
said
right.
that on the past too. But anyway, I talk about Instagram and using it as a tool rather than just somewhere to flaunt and glorify your self-image. Because especially when you're going to college, like social media is what you were saying. It's a great tool because you're able to meet people that you might have not even thought about meeting before.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you just said, social media can be like used to your advantage or used to your deficit. And I feel like a lot of people that just like let it consume so much of their attention, that's like a deficit. But like when you're using it to like meet new people, or especially like what we were just talking about going to college, like you should definitely on Instagram be that person that puts everyone in the class in a random Instagram group chat and just be like, yo, guys, what's up? Like, we're all going to be freshmen. Like, let's get talking. And I was in like at least 5 of them in Lafayette. And like, at first I was like, what? Like, how did you even find me? Like, that was weird. But like, I learned to like them because like, then you get on campus and you're like, oh, that's that person. Oh, that's that person. Like, you start to put faces to names and it's kind of like really helpful. So that's kind of like a tip. I wasn't the person that started it, but definitely
I mean,
if
dude, you
you
miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Like, yeah, I mean, not everyone's going to be your friend, but like,
have,
I'm sure that you met people in those group chats that you still like talk to and others that you don't. Like, that's just how life works. I mean, you're not going
exactly.
to be
Yeah.
friendly with everyone that you meet.
Yeah, I know. I mean, definitely, I'm very close friends with a bunch of them, of people that were in that group chat, and definitely like you drift apart from people, and then like you never really got a chance to actually meet the person in the group chat. Though you talk to them one time, and then you never really get to see them on campus. So it's just like way to be social. I feel like college is really just like a social experiment. I like to call it.
Oh, I think that's a great word, a great way of phrasing it because I know that some people like frown upon college and like the whole education system. But aside from if we're taking that out of it, I don't even want to go into that. It's a whole nother argument. But just being placed in somewhere that makes you feel uncomfortable for a little bit, like that's what helps you out way later in life because
Exactly.
then you can like internally say like, oh, like what am I gonna do now? Like what's the next step into what I'm doing?
Yeah, you got to be able to figure it out, especially being uncomfortable. Like it sucks at first, but like when you figure it out, like you're better off.
Is there ever a time that you think you wish you were just like a regular college kid, not a student athlete?
No, I would say I would never wanted. I wish I wasn't a student athlete, but like times where like you get time to yourself and like maybe like in your off season when like you do get like a 2 week break from like lift and just like all the meetings and you get to relax like that you really we like the guys we really enjoy that and I know all athletes really enjoy that but like somewhere in that 2 week period I don't know where it is difference between people like you start getting itch and you're like all right I'm bored like I want something to do and like being done at 4 o'clock like from class was great. Like, all right, I got my whole day to myself, but that was cool for maybe about like a week. And then after that, I'd rather be at practice. So it was kind of like, I never wish I wasn't a student athlete, but I can see the benefits of not being a student athlete sometimes.
Well, you gotta be, and it's nice that like they give you like a little bit of a break because everyone needs that. Like it's not just physical; it's also mental. Like going at it 365 days a year is honestly for most people undo. Like they aren't able to do that. Like that's if you are like you're the 0.001%. You got to find a way to take a break that yourself. Like I'm sure like it's really nice not having practice for a week because you need it both physically and mentally because you've been doing it for so long.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just really a time for your body to relax and rejuvenate. And definitely, like we were talking about the recovery, it's like sometimes that's the time where you do maybe an extra yoga session or like you do an extra recovery session just to really get your body back and aligned in order to, again, in 6 months, hop back on the season grind and just like be successful. That's what you want to set yourself up to, just be successful.
Yeah, being a regular college student doesn't really set you up. If anyone's a regular college student out there, I don't want to say this as I'm hating on you, but I'm saying that if you have some responsibility that you have to go to, you'll be way more successful. Like I said earlier, I
Yeah.
think I think I was saying that like sports holds you accountable, but anything in general that you're a part of holds you accountable because you have someone else than yourself in the mirror to tell you like, hey, you are messing up. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it happens to people on the team. Don't need to go into it or anything, but like, it's just part of it that if you have someone else at least keeping an eye on you, that has way more effect on what you're about to do with the next action. I like a quote by Joe Rogan, and he like says, like, what if a camera crew followed you around 24 hours a day for the next year to tell you about like your next greatest success?
Yeah,
Like, would
yeah.
you be doing the things that you'd be doing?
Yeah, yeah, the next greatest success story. I like that quote too. Definitely. And honestly, I feel like a lot of guys, I don't know how you would answer that question. Like, yeah, you gotta like just work. It's a consistent work. It's like it's something that needs to drive you and you need to be motivated and hungry to do it. Cause like back to the love thing, if you're not in love with it, you're not gonna wake up and do it every day. It's just
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. And it's like some people mess up. Like, no one's perfect, or whether you can look yourself in the mirror and say that or not. But like,
Yeah.
you're going to make mistakes, but it's if you can learn from those mistakes. Like I'm sure from freshman year to now that you probably made mistakes in the weight room, maybe that you didn't do so well in the class, but there's other ways that you're able to figure out how to do better in whatever you're doing wrong. Like if you can learn from that mistake rather than just keep making the same one, you're going to become more successful. It's just how it works. Like it's a science behind it.
For sure. Yeah. You definitely gotta uh be responsible, learn from your mistakes. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna, like you said, you're just gonna keep making the same ones. And like definitely, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I definitely try to learn the most from all my mistakes. And definitely, like I also feel like even if you don't play a sport, like joining a club, doing student government, creating a club, like just do something to occupy your time other than just class will help you succeed better in class and in life.
Yeah, the more time that you have to yourself, the more likely something is going to go wrong. Like if you're
Exactly.
not doing anything all day, like what are you actually doing? Like you're looking on social media, which most of the time is not good for you. You're looking at someone else and you're just thinking, a bunch of random thoughts in your head that end up making you go insane. You're probably just doing something stupid and you're not doing anything. If you can find just like one thing that you're interested in, and I hate when people say like I'm not interested in anything.
Yeah.
I think that's just crap, man. That's such
Yeah.
crap.
And honestly, I feel like the people that say they're not interested in anything, I'd be like, well, honestly, you just like start something on Instagram because clearly you're on that enough. And that's like honestly what I say to those people. Like, you're on Instagram, so do something with Instagram. But honestly, like, you got to find your passion. You just got to find your craft. And yeah, like social media. Honestly, I'm weird about social media. Like, I say, like, I put content out and I like use it, try to like gain a following and stuff. But like you just said, I feel like a lot of people use social media in like the wrong way, where they're like using it to like hate on people. Even if like if someone has something nice, like say like someone's posting a Lamborghini, like I'll be like, oh dang, like that's a nice Lamborghini. Like it should motivate you to want a Lamborghini if that's what you want. Like I'm not saying materialistic stuff, but like I'm just saying like people don't use it as like motivation to want something. They just like hate and like it's like, oh, why does he have that? Like I don't get it.
Oh,
But
dude,
like
we live in just like such a negative world. I think I was listening to the song today, "Where's the Love" by the Black Eyed Peas, and just like everything that he's saying in there is like it's just so real because everything that you see on the media is just so negative. Like it's the wrong
yeah,
criteria. Like that just drives. Like even if you don't think that it's hitting you, it is. It's just how your brain works. The
yeah,
more you see things like that, the more it's going to go into your head and put negative thoughts. Like if you're just able to figure out like I know Instagram and like social media, I know a lot of people consider it a bad thing in those senses, but you just
yeah,
got to find the way, like you were saying, like it motivates me to, maybe work a little bit harder and like growing yourself and growing like your brand. Cause like you're Selwyn Simpson, like I'm a
yeah,
football player at Lafayette. Like that's a good thing because, maybe one day when the time's right, some agent's going to hit you on and be like, all right, this kid's obviously doing what he's doing. He's not posting stupid stuff on the gram. Like he's not making, bad choices. And you got to think twice about what you're about to post. I
yeah,
talk about that in the 10-minute podcast too. People are so dumb with that stuff. It
yeah,
just makes me,
definitely. I feel like you said, you got to use Instagram as your friend, like rather than your ally. And like you gotta like definitely make sure what you post. And uh Yeah, I forget my next point. But
Dude, it happens. It
yeah, but
happens.
like really like with that whole thing, I really feel like it's a mindset. Like even like a quote I used to write in my journal every day in camp is like the difference between a champion and a loser is a mindset. And I feel like you can take that out of sports and like if you want to be successful or if you just want to be average, like you have to change your mindset. Like a lot of times you're gonna get like something that you don't want to do and like there's no way around it. So you got to change the way you look at it. Like, all right, I guess I like this part, or I guess I like to do this. Like even in like whatever it is, like you don't feel like doing this gasser, or you don't feel like doing this practice. You're like, all right, well at least I like to run this play. Like I hope they're gonna run this play, or at least like something. You got to see the positive in something.
Yeah, I think that that's something that's really important is that your mind is the most powerful asset that you have. Like I'm a business guy, so like I think of things as assets, liabilities, expenses, and revenue. Like your
Mm-hmm.
mind, like you can train that and forever. Like if you're
Yeah,
60 years old, you can still become smarter. It's the one thing that no matter what happens physically that you can keep working on. And people nowadays just think that life, especially kids in college, man, they just think that life isn't real. Like, I don't need to do anything yet because this is these 4 years of limbo that I can do whatever I want and have fun. It doesn't work like that.
yeah. I feel like definitely it varies the college you go to, but I feel like a lot of people do that and then like they'll realize it really too late, like their senior spring of college, like, oh, I didn't do really anything to set myself up for success. Like that's kind of what we were talking about with Instagram, like building your personal brand. Like I really don't even like care if you don't even play sports or do anything. Like if you're building a following and like promoting yourself, like no matter what you want to do, you're probably going to be successful. Because like if you build up 5,000, 10,000 Instagram followers and like, yeah, you want to start a Shopify store that sells jewelry, you have 10,000 people that can see it. Like you're just going to be able to success. Like whatever it's your job, you have to find someone to work for you, or you have to find someone to work for. Like you need a new job, you could just say, hey, I lost my job, I'm looking for a job, and someone be able to help you. Like I'm big on networking, and I'm big on like just knowing everyone and being cool to everyone, because like you never know when you need something or when someone else needs you.
Oh, that's something like it's huge to realize, and like in college, but just in life in general, like it's the people that you can like connect with. Like honestly, I got someone on this podcast because we were talking at the gym, and I was like, "Dude, do you want to do
Yeah,
this?" And he was like, "Yeah, like let's do it. Like let's run this." And that's the thing. Like I never really talked to someone before this, but like you have like this internal connection. Like he made these dope beanies that are available at theronanbellshow.com. He put me onto the supplier to go get this, and I mean, he's hopping on the podcast now and like we're helping each other out. You got to figure out that everyone can help you in some certain way, whether it is they're showing me how to do something good or they're doing something bad and I can learn not to do that.
exactly. And I feel like that's something that our generation really doesn't understand. Like everyone is gonna like. I feel like not everyone experiences the same life, but kind of like, especially like in business, like whether you're starting a company or you're trying to work somewhere, like someone is gonna make a mistake that you're probably gonna end up making, and if you can learn from that person and not make that mistake, you're gonna be better off than other people that are in your bracket that are going to make that mistake. That's where you're going to separate yourself, and the more mistakes that you can avoid making is the high, like that's really where you separate yourself. And like whether that's in like the way you spend money or like the way you learn things, like what we were just talking about, like always acquiring knowledge, uh that's really where you're just going to create the gap.
Oh yeah, man. Reading books. Got on to reading books this year.
Yeah,
Crazy. Started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Great book.
great book.
But like you got to be able to, like that was the thing. Like I didn't realize that, like I always thought reading was like a drag. Like in school, like I feel like our school system puts books in our hands and like they want us to read it, but it's like something else to do that most of the time we don't like because it's about something that we could
Don't
care
care
less
about.
about.
Yeah,
But when you
don't
can
care.
find something that you're reading that you like I'm sure that maybe you're not going to read a book on, I don't know. So what's something that you hate?
uh don't really like history per se, so I probably wouldn't read like a World War I novel.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
like, and you don't need to. If
no,
that's
I
something you
don't.
don't want to read, like what, like if that's something like obviously history is important, but
Yeah.
like if you don't need to go read and spend your time reading something that like you don't like want to. You have the
Yeah.
power now that like you can pick up anything that you want and learn about it. Whether it be reading books, YouTube videos, like there's so many ways nowadays that you can invest in your mind rather than just scrolling through Instagram or whatever you're doing with your day.
That's what I'm saying. And I even going off that, like Instagram and like TikTok can never be used for your advantage. Like I figured out how to like not figured out, but like I got on like this stock side of TikTok and like this business side of TikTok, and they probably give me more business ideas than I probably would give myself. And like not saying you're gonna use all of them, but like I definitely use some of the stocks and like options I trade, and that it definitely made me money. So it's just like definitely like free. There's so much free knowledge out there. It's just like, are you going to be looking at people dancing all day, or are you going to listen to people that are trying to like help you?
Oh yeah, you got to choose. Like if you like, I talk about TikTok has a great algorithm because it puts things in front of your face that you like and that you interact with, and that if you choose things that just like obviously you're still gonna have like the dancing videos come up every once in a while, but like that's just part of it. But you're gonna have like more things that are drawn to you. And I'm not like I talk about TikTok as like a bad app and that you can get trapped inside of it, but it depends how you use it. Like if you're using it as I'm trying to learn information, like then it's a good thing to use. But if you're just gonna keep letting it pass you by and letting time go by like 2 hours, you ever get that thing on TikTok where you're like, what is it like? Maybe you should take a drink of water.
Yeah, like, when you get that ad, you know you've been on it for too long. Hey, you've been on this app for a while. Maybe you should get some food and a drink. That's when you know you should probably close the app. And you think, that's funny, and then you just swipe it up. But like, no, they're being dead serious. Like you've been on this app.
Your brain cannot take any more of this.
Yeah,
like you actually need to get off.
TikTok does a really good job. Like you just said, the algorithm and every video is just like snappy and just like quick. So it's just like I get myself lost. Like you'll see my stock watch list and that grew like crazy because I get too many options. I gotta narrow it down. But like I said, it's all about the knowledge you're getting.
Yeah, putting yourself in the right situation.
Yeah.
You have the power to do that no matter what it is. Like football, you keep working hard. I'm going to put myself in a good situation. So one, I can get a degree, and two, I can do what I want to do at a high level. Exactly. If you want to learn things on Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, you have the power to search that up if you're interested in something. Yeah. Like it goes hand in hand to what you actually internally want to do.
And like you're your biggest enemy. Like that's what I said. You're your biggest supporter and you're your own biggest enemy. And like you got to figure out what side you're on.
Oh, I love that because you can be drawn to do things that you are out of your character, like things that, you know, maybe you spend like 3 hours doing, you know, you're on TikTok instead of reading a book and you're like, wow, that where has the time gone? Like I need to actually do something now. And sometimes that can show you like where you are messing up.
Exactly. You just got to be observant of what you're doing. For sure.
Oh, I love that. I love the observant of what you're doing. You you have to be honest with yourself. It's so hard for people to do.
Definitely. Accountability too is a hard thing for people to take. Definitely got to be accountable with yourself.
So one day people will figure it out. But before we get in the quote segment, I just want to ask you, what is one piece of wisdom that you want to pass on? I can't treat wisdom like a fable, pass it on from generation to generation to generation. So if you could pass on one piece of wisdom, what would that be?
I'll probably give a financial tip. I would definitely say like start investing early as possible because definitely you want to be able to take care of yourself down the line, and the earlier you do that, the more you'll be able to have it down the line. I see a lot of times like a lot of people when they get like 65, like they don't really have enough money to last them the rest of their life, and I feel like that would be like a problem that I couldn't even imagine to deal with, or I want my family to deal with. So that would be people need to get more financial literacy. I feel like the schools don't do a good job of teaching us that. But definitely what you're talking about with reading, you got to pick what you read. And that's kind of like what I'm really reading right now, trying to get my knowledge up. So that's my
love it, man. Oh, yeah. Financial literacy, huge thing. Love it. Love that we're finally, I hope more people, like you were saying, that like you need to be financially literate because you have all the information in the world out there to teach you.
Yeah.
But school, I don't want to get into it, but school kind of breezes over it or doesn't teach you about it because they want to set you up. I can't. Oh,
yeah,
man, we're gonna go into bad things. So
we can talk about that at the gym. We can talk about that.
Yeah, man. So, but again, before we conclude the show, man, what would be one quote that you like to, look at something that really means a lot to you and something that kind of motivates you?
One quote that always really motivated me is you kind of alluded to it earlier, but it was like you got to work when no one's in the stands to shine when the stands are full. And that's kind of like what I kind of been able to construct my athletic career at. Like that's kind of really what motivates me in the hot summer days. Like when I'm really working out or days I really don't want to do it, it's like how successful do you really want to be? Like if you really don't want to score touchdowns in the games, then yeah, you don't have to go work out right now. But if that's something that you want to do, if that's something that you think about doing, don't lie to yourself. You got to keep yourself on track. And whether it's like athletics, spending, dieting, like it's just, you got to, like your mindset, like the biggest thing is your mindset.
Yeah, no one cares how hard you work. They just want to see
No,
the end product. It's true.
exactly.
I hate people posting. Man, I hate athletes posting these things. I think Justin said this best. I hate people. I hate watching people dribble around cones because anyone can do that.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
no one cares.
And definitely it's like no one cares, but it's like how often are you doing that? Are you doing that every day or are you just doing this right now because you want to take a video? Like there's been a lot of times, like occasionally I got a lot of friends that do like videography or want to do something and they'll ask me to take a video and I love doing that. Like I love helping people out. And that actually like help. I don't even know if you're Chase Part, but he
Yeah.
actually a job with Nordertrack from like his Vimeo and like we've been doing videos from that from like his high school days and they like it actually helped him in his when he was getting a job. So like when he told me that, I like felt really proud and happy. Like I was able to help him get to his goal like that. So like I love doing videos, but it's funny to see how many more people come to the workout the day that the cameraman's there than like when no one's there and it's just the trainer. Like it's funny. You'll notice it.
Oh, dude, 100%. So thank you for coming on the show today, man. Thanks for telling your story. Thanks for giving some insight on what it is like to be a Division I athlete and just your opinions on a whole bunch of topics. It was really great. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Is there anything that you want to plug before we go on with our night?
I mean, shop at vibesonly.com. That's my clothing line. And definitely I got another venture coming soon for you guys. I love to talk about it. Maybe hop on it again when it's all ready to talk about. But I appreciate you having me, man.
Dude, no problem. I love your story, man. I hope that someone learned something from you out there. Guys, that is it for today's episode. Make sure you hit that follow button on Apple or Spotify, whatever you're listening to. If you really like this podcast, give me that 5-star rating. That would mean a lot to me. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hi, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would really mean a lot to me. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers, and yeah, it'd be awesome. Hit that bell so you get notified whenever a new podcast comes out. Also, I have merchandise available at theronandbellshow.com. We have these beanies that just got in. We have these sweatshirts. I hope I get t-shirts out that says I know Ronan Bell because that's going to be funny. But
Yeah.
other than that, guys, again, all the money that I make from merchandise, donations through Anchor, go right back into the podcast. By this time, I did a $100 cash giveaway. Everything that you guys gave to me, I gave straight back to you guys. So just keep that in mind. I love the support. If you can support in any way possible, listen to this podcast, go like an Instagram picture. It will honestly mean the world to me. But guys, that's all I got for today. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, getting through whatever you're getting through. And as always, y'all just keep on keeping on.
Peace out.